Practicing. So when we bring new counselors on staff, one of the things we have them do is actually listen in on conversations. And we will tell the people on the phone and the people on the office, hi, this is one of our new counselors. But it's like when you go to the restaurant and they're like, hi, welcome to TGI Fridays, this is so-and-so, they're in training today. And you're like, cool, I have 2 servers. Most people don't mind that you do that. But the more things that they can hear and the more they hear experienced people say them, and if you want to hear it, you should be able to ask others in your office, hey, do you mind if I listen in on that phone conversation? Do you mind if I hear how you deal with this? You know how tough PJ is coming and his family has something. Would it be okay if I sat in on it? It really makes a difference. And we do case studies in our counselor meetings, and so I'll have an interaction that nobody was around for, and I'll go, we all need to see what we would do if this happened. Would we all do the same thing? Because they should get the same treatment if they see you as if they see the person who sits next to you, as if they see the person who sits next to you. Right? The institution's answer should be the same. And so you got to share them. Do some role playing. It seems funny, but if you can do these case studies and role play a little bit so that it's not a shock when somebody, and I picked on you, said something like, what is cost? What is this? If you can role play with one another and give each other those questions before you're on the spot, in the moment in front of a parent or a student, it makes a big difference in making sure that you already know your answer. And use your resources. How many of you have counseling centers on your campuses? For those of you that do, they can be a good resource. Our counseling center was willing to come and talk to us about some very specific things, and they were able to talk to us about our campus specifically. Here is what a Duke student, here are our top reasons people visit our office, and here's what they're struggling with. And this is kind of their profile, and so we've got to be sensitive to these factors because they may not be so forthcoming, but this is happening in a lot of their lives. The counseling office may be able to share that with you about your individual campus. If you don't, there are plenty of counseling centers that would probably be willing to come and talk with you about that. Or you could attend a training, or if we have enough voices, have this become a part of something. If we want it as professionals, these conferences are our own. We own these conferences. We're members. And as members, you can kind of request what you're going to be taught. And if this is something that you feel like would be important to know, we can have that brought there too if you don't have the resources on the campus. The fact that your offices have brought you here already shows that they're invested in your professional development, and so that's a good sign. But anytime you get the opportunity to learn about those things, I would encourage you to take advantage of them. When you think about who you're hiring in your office, when you hire people in your office, is it an office-wide process where everybody kind of gets to meet the potential person, or do they just go in the boss's office and then you don't see them after that? How many of you at least get to meet the candidates? How many of you are like, welcome, we just hired this person and they're new? How many have that experience? Okay. Interesting? For those of you who don't get to be involved, it's not a bad idea when you're hiring people to think about who makes a good counselor. Not just who can do math, who has financial aid experience. I have known some really cranky financial aid people that I wouldn't introduce a new student to. And it's easy to teach somebody math. Most people, we don't have that. We're about to do some math in a minute, and so I'm going to say it's not that complicated. It's a little complicated, but it's learnable, right? If you can add and subtract, multiply and divide, you don't even really have to do that. You just got to put them in the right order in your calculator. We can teach that. It is really hard to teach somebody how to be a good, kind person and a good counselor. And so that's what you're looking for when you hire somebody who can learn the skills, but who really is going to be good, a good colleague and a good counselor. You'll have to hire for a long time, as long as you make them happy and are nice to them too. But it's something to think about. And then, of course, if there are guest speakers that you know that could come and give those kinds of conversations on your campus, it can make a difference. The most empathetic counselor who doesn't offer corrected aid information, it still does a disservice to the student or the family. You have to do this, and like I said, that's our floor for what's required. But the most technically skilled and knowledgeable aid officer who doesn't grasp basic counseling skills is completely ineffective. You can know your regs, but But when it comes to actually helping a student persist through college, if we really want, if education really is our goal, if we really did join this profession to make sure that what we do matters, then the second piece is what we have to have. And so this is just food for thought. Any questions?